I'm here with an amazing gentleman. He is the CEO of a company called OxyFresh. His name is Richard Bliss Brooke. First of all, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Eric.
Appreciate it. Not only is he a CEO of an important company in our profession and can provide some incredible insights to what's working for people, what isn't working for people, what we need to do better in order to be able to improve the profession, but he's been a big advocate for what we do for forever. He's an author, he's a speaker, he provides some great insight, and I think we're going to talk a lot about vision today and some of the things that you can do in order to be able to improve your vision, to kind of move forward. His book is called Mach 2 With Your Hair on Fire, The Art of Vision and Self-Motivation. I encourage you to get this book. I just got the gift set from him just yesterday, and I'm looking forward to going through it. I've heard rave reviews. I haven't read it yet, sorry to say, but I've heard rave reviews, and I can't wait to go through it. But first of all, you get a unique perspective. You know, some people can see their organization, but you as you're CEO of your company, owner of the company,
correct.
You get to see what the successful people do and what the unsuccessful people do. Not only in your business, but you've been around the profession for a long time. You get to see this kind of around the world. What do you think, if you're kind of off the top of your head, what's the difference maker?
Well, I think maybe one of the reasons I'm attracted to what you're doing here, the network marketing professional, is the big difference that I see is people don't take this on as a profession, as a professional profession. And I use this analogy a lot because we work a lot with healthcare professionals. So you're a chiropractor, or you're a nurse, or you're a dentist, and how many years do you have invested in that?
Right.
How many years do you have invested in that education? And so let's boil down the years into how many semesters or quarters or whatever you call it, and how many hours of studying, how many books have you read, and how many tests have you taken, and how many things have you memorized, how many facts do you have mastery of, and concepts do you have mastery of, just to get to a point to have a career that now you don't even like very much. So you're looking at options. So this doesn't have to be healthcare professional, any profession. I just challenge people to look at, what do you have invested in being competent and successful in that profession? Whether you're an engineer or you run a small business, and people get involved in network marketing, and like I've heard you say, they have the lottery mentality. I'm going to try this for a few weeks and see if it works. And that's foreign to me, because the only thing I had mastery of when I got involved in network marketing was how to cut chickens for a living. But I was a professional at that. I was good at it. And I studied everything as a new distributor. I memorized everything. I went to every training. I read every book 4, 5, 10 times. And I find people don't do that today. And the ones that do it. The ones that seek out in their particular company, okay, who's making this work long term? They're not a flash in the pan, but who's got a system? Who's got a method? Who's got a message that's working? They seek those people out and they model them. They master them. They go to school on them. Those are the people that are successful, and the amateurs are failures.
Why do you think if people are going to become a doctor, they know, and they're expecting, they're going to go to school, undergraduate, they're going to postgraduate, all that stuff. They're going to have their internship, they're going to do all these different things that they have to do in order to be able to get to the place where they can make money. Like you say, many of them don't even enjoy it by the time they get there. Or an attorney, or a teacher, or whatever. They have this expectation. But why is there such a crazy expectation gap when it comes to our profession? Because they expect it every place else, but here they kind of don't.
They don't understand what it is we do. They don't understand the business model. They don't understand the math. They don't understand geometric progressions applied to a business where everybody can recruit everyone, and so you get geometric growth of a sales organization. They don't understand the residual income aspect of it. People think what we do is sales, peddling, you know, maybe some kind of pyramid scheme, some kind of game, some kind of social club, some kind of cult. They don't understand the science of network marketing. And our business model, multi-level marketing aspect of direct sales, there's a science to that. That's a math model. And that model has been working brilliantly for 50 years. And yet, people don't get it. That's why I wrote the book Mailbox Money. It's about having people understand the science of network marketing, the business model. When people understand that, and then you add to the education, add belief. So, okay, I understand the model. Now if you introduce somebody that understands the model to somebody who's making it work economically, like, you know, here's a guy or here's a gal that's making $50,000 a month. And they have been for the last 4 or 5 years. And they don't work very hard for the 50 grand a month. And the probability of that 50 grand a month staying at 50 or increasing is very high. And, you know, let me introduce you to 30 more people like that. When you add belief to education, then people get it. But that's something that's missing in our industry. There's too much, we take it for granted too much that people should understand what we do. The science behind it and the belief behind it. And people don't. They don't get it. They don't appreciate it. They don't respect it. They kind of dive into it, and we're responsible for this too, with sort of hope I hit the lottery mentality.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work.
Can you kind of summarize what the general thesis of that mailbox money model is? I mean, for the people who are out there and they're talking to people, and those people don't get it. You know, they have these preconceived notions, and you've talked about helping kind of with some messaging to improve that, at least people's ability to tell a story. Could you kind of condense that down in at least a general overview?
Well, I'll start with the back half of the book. The back half of the book is 10 or 12 success stories of various individuals from various companies that have done very well. So that's the belief building part. And then up front, the message is taking some of the very current and powerful things that we have, facts that we have about the people that endorse our industry, what they have had to say about network marketing working. You know, my favorite is Warren Buffett. He's taken a hit here recently in the markets, but he's still the most fearsome, successful investor on the planet. And, you know, his words, best investment I ever made. He owns 3 direct sales network marketing companies. You know, Donald Trump and, you know, all these people that are involved in network marketing, that's an incredible credibility. Right. But the meat of the book of Mailbox Money speaks to 4 what I call cornerstones of the business. The first cornerstone is the people. One way to describe how network marketing works as opposed to the typical direct sales model is, in direct sales, it's a really good salesperson, maybe has a territory, lots of training, lots of incentives, and a few superstars go out and sell a lot of product. Mm-hmm. Where you apply the network marketing or multi-level marketing model to it, it's a lot of people doing or selling a little bit each. Mm-hmm. You don't really care how much each individual sells, because what distinguishes network marketing or multi-level marketing from traditional direct sales is, in multi-level marketing, there's no limit to how many salespeople you can have. So the way you get sales volume is not by how much an individual sells, but how many individuals you have. Mm. So the way you get the people in network marketing, I think California Vitamins invented this in 1950. They put the spin on direct sales. They changed a couple of rules. The first and breakthrough rule that they changed in direct sales is, instead of you having to be a sales manager and a superstar in order to hire other salespeople, they said everyone can hire other salespeople. Everyone can recruit. What that threw into direct sales was geometric progressions or compounding in how you get the people. Hmm. So if everyone can recruit, then if you have 10 people and they each go out and get 10 people, now you have 110 people. Mm-hmm. And if they each go out and get 10 people, now you have 1,000. And then you have 10,000, and then you have 100,000. And direct sales companies, historically, they could not grow that way. You know, a Kirby vacuum cleaner company never grew that way. California Vitamins threw that compensation plan onto direct sales and exploded the network marketing industry. California Vitamins was purchased by Amway. Amway, 50 years of building that model. They are still the #1 network marketing company on the planet. And as you know, last year they grew by almost $2 billion, 50 years later.
$8.2 billion.
The 3 other cornerstones in the book are, once you understand how you get 500 or 1,000 or 10,000 people, you don't get them by you getting them. You get them by you getting a few, and they get to do the same thing you do, so they get a few. That's how you get the people. When people understand that, they start to let go a little bit of, okay, I get how I could get a few hundred or a few thousand people actually working for me. But I found it takes sometimes hours to have people understand just that part. Just the part of geometric progressions or compounding applied to recruiting.
It's so different than everything else they've ever been taught their whole life.
Yeah.
Ever since they were a kid, they're taught to be part of the machine.
Right.
So this is completely different.
Once they understand the people, the second cornerstone is pretty simple. It's sales. Apply sales to the people. If you got 1,000 people and they each sell $100 a month worth of product, which, you know, in most cases they're going to just use that. That's $100,000 a month in sales. So there's your business. That's over $1 million a year in sales revenue for your business. Simple. The third cornerstone is money. Every company has a comp plan. It pays, 40 to 50% of that volume. You can expect to earn between 5 and 10% of your whole group. So if you're doing $100,000 a month and you're making 7%, you're making $7,000 a month. The fourth cornerstone is about residual income. I don't think, unless you have residual income in network marketing, I don't think what we have to offer is that unique and that valuable. You can make $50,000 a month selling real estate in a decent market, or being a mortgage broker, or doing all kinds of things. But how much money you can make is not that unique in network marketing. What's unique is if you can build up an income and know that whether you're working that business or not, you're going to get paid that money every month. That has extraordinary value. That has net worth value. That has asset value. So let's say, for example, you have 1,000 people in your network and they're doing $100 a month on average each, and you're making $7,000 a month. If you can know that that's residual, like it's not going to go away no matter what, that $7,000 a month is worth $1.5 million to $2 million in net worth as an asset. So what I like to teach people is look at what you would have to do in real estate in terms of how much time, how much risk, how much money you'd have to put in to end up, and how long would it take you to end up with $2 million worth of net worth.
Without the risk. I mean,
Right.
just look at the people who are sitting on risk today because they thought
Exactly.
they were safe in real estate.
Totally. Some of them are down 50%.
Yeah.
And it's not just the value of that real estate, it's the asset. So in order for you to have $2 million worth of net worth in real estate, you got to have $2 million unencumbered. So that's a $2 million commercial building that you don't owe anything on.
That'd take a while.
That'd take a long time. Or maybe you want to try to do it in the equities,
Yeah.
where you don't get any leverage. At least in real estate, you get leverage. In equities, you don't get any leverage, but the risk is huge. I mean, how do you know your brokers when he's pitching Enron or Global Crossing or MCI World? How do you know he doesn't know what he's talking about? How do you know he's blind to what's about to happen? You don't. You don't have a clue. Network marketing is the absolute best way to build wealth, to build net worth. If you build it in a way and in a company with a product line that you can expect 10, 20, 30, 50 years from now, people will still be buying those products. And look at the companies like Amway. They don't have to be miracle products to provide residual income. Amway doesn't have any miracle products. Mary Kay doesn't have any miracle products. Herbalife doesn't have any. New Skin doesn't have any. Those are companies been around 25, 30, 40, 50 years, paying residual income the whole time. That's the holy grail of wealth building, to build residual income in network marketing. And while you're doing it, you can also take that money and invest in real estate and equity, so you get a three-pronged approach. You got real estate, you got equities, you got residual income. At some point, you want to go full-time, retire, you got freedom. And that's what people really want, They want freedom. They want to have fun. They want to feel like they're contributing. They want to feel safe. They don't want to feel vulnerable to the next huge world or U.S. economic downturn. They want to build walls of protection around themselves, their family, and their lifestyle. You know, if they're having fun today, if they're golfing, if they want to be able to do that the rest of their life, not just right now. That takes wealth. That takes well thought out, strategic, bulletproof wealth. This is the best place in the world to do it.
What do you think is the biggest challenge to the network marketing profession, or the biggest opportunity? I mean, just as a profession for everyone involved, either looking at it or involved with the profession, what's the biggest kind of opportunity? What's the next stage for all of us?
Well, I've heard you and other people talk about this, and I have been talking about it and predicting it for at least 10 or 15 years. It's the tipping point for us that we're on a collision course for, is when the paradigm shifts for Americans, North Americans, entrepreneurs all over the world around our business model. Right now, the paradigm is sort of, how I define that is, most people's belief about what we do is that it doesn't work. We are on course because we've grown 19 out of the last 20 years as an industry. We'll continue to grow because of what we have to offer. There'll come a point as more credible, more celebrities, more super successful business people like Donald Trump and Warren Buffett and all these people get involved in our industry, there will come a point where the masses shift, and it'll happen very quickly. Once it happens, it's that 100th monkey syndrome. And all of a sudden, people will get it. And it won't be a matter of, are you involved in network marketing? It'll be a matter of, which one are you involved in? You may be involved in 10 as a wholesale customer, but just like real estate and equities, people will get it. The value of residual income and how to build it in a network marketing company. And most everyone that's paying attention to their wealth building, like they have a 401k now, they're thinking about buying a rental home, those same people, they'll have a chosen network marketing company that they'll be building their residual income in, even if it's $1,000, $1,500 a month. And right now, I think our survey numbers are way off. I think if your listening audience went out, you try this. Go ask 20 people who aren't involved in your network how many people they know that participate in one form or fashion in a network marketing company, a direct sales, and describe it to them. Give them some names of companies. What does it look like? And I don't think you'll find 1 out of 30 or 40. I think you'll find 1 out of 10 people are already involved, at least in the consumer level. And the tipping point for us is when that 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10 start to look at it for residual income, it'll become the norm. And that's the opportunity. It's the challenge we have now, is if you go out and prospect 100 people, 95 of them, 98 of them, they don't understand what we do and they don't want anything to do with it. Right. And that's going to change, and I predict that'll change in the next 5 to 10 years, where most people that you and I know will be involved in this industry at the very minimum as wholesale consumers, and the ones that are concerned about their wealth will be building in a company. And what that says to all of us is we better get busy if we want to
get in front of it.
Yeah, that's right.
The thing that rings true to me and is exciting to me that I heard out of that whole statement was, in the very near future, it's not going to be if somebody's involved with a network marketing or direct selling company. It's just which one.
Right.
I think that's so true. Right now, it's kind of this underground.
Right.
It's this subculture. Everybody kind of knows about it, but it's whispered, behind closed doors of, hey, have you heard about this? Or, I'm doing this, or, my spouse is doing this on the side, or this, whatever. And it's going to become, and what I hope this program helps to do is becomes a little bit more, what do you do? I'm a network marketing professional. Oh, really? What company? That's what I want to see in the next 2 to 5 years, is everybody that watches this show goes out and says, I'm a network marketing professional and I'm a teacher. I'm a network marketing professional and I'm a doctor, or whatever it is that they do. And the natural response is going to be, we're going to go from, what's network marketing? What do you mean by that? To, oh, which company?
Right.
And what's your product?
Exactly.
I think you're absolutely right. Let's talk a little bit about your vision work. Mach 2 with your hair on fire. I lit my hair on fire a long time ago.
Well, you're a good student then.
Yeah. Vision and self-motivation. So many people, I think, struggle with this ability to motivate themselves because society has preconditioned them to be motivated by external forces.
Right.
Parents, teachers, workforce, boss. What does it take, do you think? And first of all, why do you think it's important for vision and self-motivation? And second, what does it take in order to be able to get there? Go ahead.
Well, I studied this. I have studied it for 35 years. I've been a student of not only the network marketing industry, but personal development. I was very fortunate to be involved early on in a network marketing company we had products, but we were all about personal development. And if I had not been in that environment, I wouldn't have made it because I needed a lot of personal development. The things that I studied, though, were lacking something for me. And I just kept pursuing people and studying and reading and going to seminars and hooking up with people. And I studied under one guy who just had the lights all come on for me. And there's a couple of distinctions that this book is based on. We were in a seminar this morning, and Jeff Olson was talking about Think and Grow Rich, which is like, one of the most important books of all time in personal development. And I personally struggled with that book. It was hard for me to get through. I didn't understand a lot of the concepts. And one of the things that I had working through my organization in the beginning is I had a burning desire to be successful. But that didn't seem to matter. All that seemed to do was keep me in the game, kept me from quitting. But it also created a lot of frustration and a lot of blood, because I just kept beating myself up. I wouldn't quit. And I ran into a guy that gave me a distinction between desire and motivation. And the lights all came on for me. And as I studied it more and more, I got clear and I started teaching it. And then the book is basically all about how to create it. I'll give you an example of the distinction between desire and motivation. Desire is really wanting something really, really bad, and you got a white hot burning desire for it and all of that. But what you're affirming when you have desire is that you don't have something. So if you really want something, what you're saying to yourself and the universe is, I don't have it, I'm lacking, it's over there, I want it. And that's important for creating direction, but it's not motivation. Motivation, how I define it in this book, is some examples. Motivation is enthusiasm. So if you want to become wealthy, it's one thing to want it. It's another thing to be enthusiastic about the path to get it. So one of the examples I'm going to teach this afternoon, for example, to a group here in about an hour, I'm going to ask them, if you can get yourself and keep yourself enthusiastic enough about your goals, what could you do? So if your goal is to make $10,000 a month, for example, in network marketing, and you know kind of what you need to do that, which is prospect and present to a lot of people. So if you could get yourself and keep yourself enthusiastic enough every day about prospecting and presenting, what could you accomplish? In our business, the answer is anything. I mean, just take that one thing, enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is different from desire. You may want to make $10,000 a month, but you may not believe you can. You may be resigned about it. You may have a whole story about how hard it is. And so you want it really bad, but that doesn't get you anywhere to getting it. If you're enthusiastic about the path, you'll be on the path. And enthusiasm is just one component of how I define motivation here. Another is courage. Courage is huge. Courage is, people that have courage, it's not like they're not blind to the danger. They're not blind to the risk. They see the risk just like a coward. A coward sees the risk and says to themselves, I can't. I'll get hurt. It's not worth it. I freeze. I'm out. Somebody with courage sees the same risk and says, and they dive in anyway. They see the risk, they dive in anyway. So courage is motivation. If you could get yourself and keep yourself courageous enough every day in building your empire of network marketing, what could you accomplish? And how I drill that down is in prospecting. We all have a list, or we see somebody out here in the hotel, walk through the lobby, you see a sharp person. The person that's a coward sees the sharp person and they make up how it's not a good time, they won't be interested, I won't land well, they don't know me, I don't have any credibility. The person with courage sees somebody sharp dressed, prospect, boom, they're on them. I got courage. That's motivation. If you have courage, what can you accomplish? The answer is anything. Persistence is a function of motivation, and the most important is creativity. Creativity shows up in two forms. One is problem solving, and we all know the only difference between point A and point B is a series of problems. You keep solving the problems, you're going to move between point A and point B. And problems are solved through creative solutions. But the most important component of creativity is creative interpretations. Creative interpretations, the best way to explain it again is you're looking at a prospect. Somebody who's unmotivated, they may have a white-hot burning desire, but somebody who is unmotivated sees a prospect and they make up. These are creative interpretations. If you see a prospect, the only thing that's true is, if I see you and you're walking through the hotel lobby and you're sharp and you got a briefcase, and the only thing that's true is, there's Eric Worre walking through a hotel. That's the only thing that's true. If I'm not motivated, I'll make up, I don't know him, I don't have any credibility with him, look how fast he's walking, he's busy, I don't have my materials with me, I don't know what to say. Those are what I call red light creative interpretations. If I make up red lights, I'm out of the game. I will not approach you. If I make up, look how sharp that guy is. Looks like a business guy, looks like an entrepreneur. Traveling, maybe he's tired of traveling all over the place. Hey, I got something. If Gretzky, you miss all the shots, 100% of the shots you don't take. So I pop a tool on you. Hey, read this magazine, look at this brochure, check out this DVD. I take a shot. I give myself a green light, a creative interpretation that there's a possibility there. People that give positive, creative interpretations, green lights, they move. They're in action. So motivation, it's a lot of things. It's a mental, emotional, spiritual energy. But how you would boil it down is, you have desires, that's great. Doesn't really mean much. Maybe you even have goals. That's great. They don't mean much either. A vision is, how do you hold those goals? Do you hold them as inevitable? Do you believe in them? Are you enthusiastic about it? Is the way you see them is you deserve them, like you won't be denied, like you're on a path, you're a natural. Is that the way you see it? When you and I see it that way, we are naturally and powerfully in action to accomplish, to manifest that vision, and we're also in massive attraction because we're the tuning fork. We just hit that tuning fork in a way that it comes to us. Action and attraction when you have a vision. And part of the connection that I learned from one of my mentors was the way you create internal, sustained self-motivation is by having a crystal clear vision. I kind of made that word around what I'm describing here. And a vision is a mindset, it's a belief, it's the way you hold your goals as inevitable as you already have them now. And there's a whole process and technique to accessing that, writing about it, studying it. It's an art, and it works. And it works not only from the law of attraction standpoint, but more importantly than the law of attraction is the law of action. And everybody watching this program, everybody involved in our industry knows that where the rubber meets the road in our industry is if you will go out and in a positive, fun, enthusiastic way, share your business model with 2 or 3 or 4 people a day, 4 or 5 days a week, with no attachment to whether they get involved or what their objections are. Just have fun, share it with them, be the lifestyle, be the energy that you want somebody to be attracted to. That's all you have to do in the right program, and do it consistently for a year, 2, 3 years. You're going to become wealthy. That's the nexus point in our business. And what holds people back from prospecting that way is fear, doubt. They have goals, but they don't believe in those goals. It's too analytical for them. And so this book teaches you how to take your desires and your goals and turn them into white hot, burning visions that you will not be denied, that you absolutely, totally expect and believe this is happening for you. And when you're in that state of mind, you act in accordance to bring it about. It works. It's been working for me for 25 years and a lot of people that have studied it.
So, Rich, what would you say to the people who are watching? There's two different groups of people I'm thinking about. The first is the group of people who have not developed a single muscle when it comes to self-motivation. They're the 98-pound weakling, and getting involved with this is like getting the sand kicked in their face every day. They've been externally motivated by the machine for their whole life.
Right.
So that's one group of people that I want you to talk to. Second group of people are the ones that, the people watching, they're thinking about how can I help someone who hasn't developed any muscle when it comes to self-motivation to start the process. I mean, because I get the elements of becoming self-motivated and holding on to the vision. But what would be like a starting point for those people to be able to kind of start to work out those muscles and start to build up a little bit more power?
Well, the easy part is for people to figure out what they want. So if I said, Eric, here's an extra $5 million, how long will it take you to figure out what you might do with it? That's pretty easy. The real challenging part for people is believing that it's possible for them, that it's beyond possible, that it's inevitable. So for those people that are looking at, I just need to start learning how to get motivated, the most important aspect of motivation is belief in what it is that you want. So I'm suggesting what it is you want is pretty easy, but
Sorry.
That's right.
Oh man.
I know.
I apologize to
That's
you.
all right. That's a hassle.
I asked the question, then immediately my throat starts tickling.
That means you might be on the verge of something. Do you ever
No.
take Zcam? Zicam?
Well, I mean,
Or it's an allergy, you said it's not a
yeah, well, it's allergy induced for sure. I got something dripping in the back of my throat. All right. This is great stuff. People are going to love it.
Good.
I love it.
Thanks.
I'll let you just go ahead and pick up with the answer.
What I would tell people that are just starting out looking to get motivated is what you might want, what you have a desire for, what your goals might be. That's a simple part. People they look at their lives and, well, what's immediate for me? Well, if I have debt, and that's an issue for me, then maybe I want to get rid of my debt, and maybe I want to get my wife home with the kids, or maybe I want to take a vacation and not have to worry about the money. So what we want is pretty easy. The tough part is believing first that it's possible, and that doesn't even do us a lot of good when it comes to motivation. What we really need to believe is that it's inevitable. So an exercise that I found very useful for new people who are just getting involved that need to get motivated is I'll get them 5 or 10 names, emails, phone numbers of people that believe. So if we're in an organization, who are 5 or 10 people in the organization? Who are 5 or 10 people in your company that obviously believe based on how successful they are? And so track them down. One of the things that you and I know about successful people is if you call us up and say, hey, can I have 10 minutes to interview you? Sure. You want to know what I think? No problem. I got 10 minutes for that. You can call any leader in your company. And here's what I tell you to ask them. And I actually teach people to interview the successful people. And interview them around the micro things, the small muscles that actually make the difference. Like, okay, so if I was interviewing you, I would say the list of questions I would have is, okay, Eric, who introduced you to this industry or your company? Who's the first person that showed you network marketing? because I find there's a disconnect there. People don't really understand, they don't believe that connection. Like they're not really sure that if they went to their next door neighbor, or they went to somebody at work, or they went to their brother, that they'll listen to them. They don't believe that. Well, that's the essence of believing that this will work for you. So I teach them to ask, okay, find out who introduced them. What was their relationship to that person? Now, if they answered in an ad, fine. Well, that gives you a little bit of belief that ads can work. But then the next thing I would teach them is ask them, what did the person say? And what you'll find is that what the person said to get some of the most successful people in your business, there wasn't anything to it. They probably can't even remember what the person said. It wasn't an effective presentation. It wasn't a fancy presentation, which goes back to, it doesn't matter what you say if you're motivated. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter if people say no. None of that matters. So, who introduced you? What did that person say? What did you think the first time you saw it? The first time the most successful people saw the company that they're in, you know what they probably thought? Not interested. That was probably their first thought. I'm too busy. I've seen this before. I'm not interested. Okay, what changed? Well, maybe you tried the product. Boom. What happened with the product? Or maybe you got on the phone and you heard somebody say something. What changed that you saw it? What changed that you saw the opportunity in a light that had you move forward? This is belief building training for the new people. If you're making 50 or 100 or 10 grand a month in your company, and a new person can understand, well, it was your brother-in-law that introduced it to you, and that was the fourth thing he'd introduced you to, and the other ones didn't work, and I don't even know why you listened to him, but you did, and the first time you saw it, you weren't interested, and then you tried the product, or you got on a conference call, or you listened to a CD, and boom, something changed, and then what did you do? Okay, once you decided to do it, what'd you do? How many people did you recruit? Where'd you get them? Tell me your story. People believe in stories. They learn by stories.
Yeah.
So now, me as a new distributor, so I'm telling you, if you're a new distributor and you don't have the motivation, you're not on fire about your opportunity, take the next month, find the top 10 people in your company, and spend a half hour interviewing every one of them. Tape it. Take notes, tape it.
The top 10 people in all the companies around the world are going, oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome, no problem. This is what you get paid for. And study it. And what'll happen is if you do 10 interviews, you don't believe now in your opportunity, you do 10 interviews of the top 10 people in your company, and you study those interviews, you'll be on fire. There's no way around it.
I love it.
Works.
We talk about the process of going from faith to hope to belief. This can really, and what this is actually a faith-building exercise.
Sure.
Because they're not going to get to belief until they see some kind of results for themselves, but hopefully holding on to other people's belief. That's what they're going to hear in those stories. I think that's excellent. Here's one of my favorite questions to ask of top leaders. I'm a big fan of this concept of defining moments. In our business, in our careers, there's these defining moments, and I know over the course of your career, there's probably been many of them. But I also think, something that really fundamentally changed you. But I also think that just while I'm saying this, one probably popped into your mind. What was that defining moment for you?
The first 9 months, I was a fledgling, struggling, trying to figure it out distributor. I had a lot of desire. I worked hard. I studied everything, but didn't click. I was attached to the vice president of sales of that company, emotionally attached, intellectually attached, studied everything he did, everything he said. And my relationship to him was, as long as I could attach myself to him and get what he had, sooner or later I'd be successful. He was my lifeline. And he was a huge gift to me and an incredible inspiration. And 9 months into that relationship, and when I say relationship, he knew me, but I was just a low-level distributor. It was a pretty big company. He was the vice president of sales. He died. An interesting thing happened the night I heard he died. I was sitting in a living room in Fresno, California with some other distributors. We just finished a meeting. We got the phone call. He got hit by a wave in Maui. He was on vacation. And he was dead. And in a zombie-like state, I grabbed my things, my briefcase. You know, people were crying and freaked out and in shock. I walked out, I got in my car, and I was driving from Fresno back to my hometown. I didn't live in my hometown anymore. I lived near Fresno because I was building a business. I got almost 60 miles back to my hometown before I realized what I was doing by driving back to my hometown. I was quitting. The way I had it put together is without that lifeline, without that inspiration, I couldn't make it. If he's dead, I was out. And I don't claim to know where this message came from, but somehow I got it, that was the most disgraceful, dishonorably, cowardly thing I could do, is quit because he was gone. Because the gifts that he gave me were life-changing. And I decided in that moment, with him gone, I have only two choices: quit or be the source. Take what he'd given me and give it back out. And it didn't happen overnight for me, but that was probably the most important moment of my career, when I decided to quit taking from everyone, quit having everyone else be my source, and become the source for other people, which is just basically, it was a leadership transformational moment. I went from being a follower to being a leader. And
you became a man inside of our profession.
Maybe a network marketing professional in that moment.
I love that. It's fascinating. Well, kind of as we close up this, I mean, if you have any particular message that you're known for, any message that you could look into the camera and you could tell these people that they want this. I mean, there's people who are looking at this program that aren't involved in our profession and are looking just to try and see, is this for real? And then there's people who are at all levels of success, from no success to massive success, that are watching. What would you have to say to them? And if you could think of anything off the top of your head, say it to them.
Well, I tend to recap everything I've already said, but what comes to mind is I think I've had a fair amount of success in people listening to me because of where I came from. When I got introduced to network marketing, I literally did cut chickens for a living. I wore a steel mesh glove on this hand, and those chickens went by me, hanging by their feet, 38 a minute. 38 BPMs, that's how you live in the chicken world, that's birds per minute. And I just cut them up all day long. I don't have 1 hour of college education. I barely got out of high school with a D- average. I'm not stupid. I just, that whole world of education just didn't appeal to me. And I always wanted to be successful. I wanted to have nice cars, nice homes. I wanted to have all of that, but I didn't believe any of that was going to happen for me, because I didn't have an education. And I grew up in a paradigm of, if you want to be successful, your parents either need to give you something to make you successful, a business, a something, or you need to get really good grades, you need to get in a really good college. A lot of my friends went to law school in Stanford, and my dad went to Stanford, my mom went to Mills College. I came from the education paradigm, but I flunked out of it. So my belief about my future, flunking out of that paradigm, was it wasn't going to happen for me. I was just going to get by, and I was just getting by, cutting chickens for a living. And for me to have the extraordinary life path that I've had the last 30 years, coming from that background, I just look at people that are out there. I know that people are struggling, and some people have, greater challenges than I had. But I also know there's most of the listening audience, you have a college education. You have credibility with your network, with your friends and your family. You have credit cards, credit to work the business with. You have cash flow. You have a job. You have a nice home. You have a decent car. I didn't have any of that stuff. I didn't have anything. And if I can do what I did, coming from where I came from, then I know no matter what challenges people have out there, you can make it too. And so my message is for those people, not a message of hope,
because I think that has an air of resignation around it, but a message of belief. You can do this if you'll study it and master it. But my real message is to the ones, you have some success already. You have an education, you have self-esteem, you have some net worth, you have some income. You have a platform to take something like this and actually make what you and I have done in the industry look silly.
Mm.
One of the things that I think is going to come to our industry is where people with substance and success come to our industry as distributors, and they look at the model and they say, okay, I get it. All I really need to do is get 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 superstars and build from them, and people are going to invest $100, $200, $300,000 of their own money in getting those superstars, because they're going to figure out how much money it's going to make them to have them, and that's a paradigm that hasn't come. You know, what's still here is, oh, don't make me invest $500, or don't make me go to a meeting, or what's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years are people going to bring, as distributors, not company, not corporate, distributors, they're going to bring a mass of assets and investment into our system to get their frontline superstars and build it from there. That's coming. And those of you that have some success already in life, you need to really study the system and look at what's possible for you, because you can leverage that in much greater quantities than any of us have that have been working this the last 10, 20, or 30 years. The upside is it's enormous.